This is a whole mess. Kaylee's going to have to help me on this, but welcome to Kalt Korner, y'all. It's good to see everybody. Our first, well, actually not our first. We did this 2 years ago, but our first on our new YouTube channel of Kalt Korner. Kaylee is jumping in to fill in details that I didn't fill in. Is that where you do it?
No, that's the private chat. But welcome on.
Oh my goodness gracious. Lord help me.
Honestly, yesterday was our anniversary. We just haven't had time to set it up. But hey,
we got it set up though.
Going live today on YouTube.
We got our YouTube set up, so that's step one. And now we just have to get all the details filled in of all the back end.
I'm gonna go.
Maybe by next Wednesday we will have literally everything set up. All of our banners, our intro video, all that stuff. That's going to be our goal this week, is to get everything set up before we go live again next week. But big win for Kaylee and I on getting our YouTube channel set up and getting all that moving.
I did not get it connected to my Facebook, so I'm going to go share the YouTube and say now streaming on YouTube. Very first, well, it's actually not our very first. We used to stream to my YouTube way back in the day.
That's been a solid 2 years ago though, right?
More than that.
I gotta see how this whole thing is working. Y'all are gonna have to just bear with us. This is our first time doing this in a while on Restream on our streaming platform. So we're getting all the kinks
on
worked
yours
out.
If that's what you're looking for.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on yours. So
I'm a double check type of person. I've got to make sure everything looks how it's supposed to. Oh my goodness! Thank you for everybody who watches. Thank you for your grace through this season. We have been wanting to lean into YouTube and going a little more intentional on our social platforms and being more professional, so to speak. So we're working through all that, and again, we'll get all of the kinks worked out. Just hang with us, and we'll get you some crisp look here as we move forward. But I'm excited to be on.
Amen. Me too. I'm really bugged because we were. One of the exciting things about getting this set up on a streaming platform is that you can see the comments, but we didn't set the comments up, which is on me because I'm the one that knew how to do all of it. So anyway, welcome to Kalt Korner. There's 3 minutes of rambling, just keeping it real as always.
I have to cut all of the first few minutes out as we move forward. Yeah. But yeah, it is super real.
So, yesterday was our 13th anniversary. So we were going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we just wanted to, I think today is just going to be kind of some light conversation, just talking about us, kind of what we're doing. Yesterday was actually, yesterday was a blast. If you've watched on our Facebook, we scratched off an adventure, a date adventure, and that actually kind of turned into a funny conversation because the scratch off was for us to replicate one of our parents' favorite dates. So we actually reached out to. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I just thought it was funny. I was like, gone? No, I'm here.
What is happening? This is us. We were going to replicate one of our parents' most memorable dates, and we talked to our parents, and their most memorable date was eating dinner and talking. So that's right.
Yeah, we talked to our parents, our grandparents. They're like, well, we just kind of ate dinner and hung out.
That's literally what happened.
Yeah.
So.
But we'll have a little short vlog for you guys on our day yesterday.
Yeah, we had a phenomenal day. We actually spent like 10 hours together. We talked a lot, connected, and it was just a beautiful time. If you're married, it really spurred me on in our marriage to be more intentional with dating my wife, because it's so, anytime we go on just a intentional date together, it's so beautiful, and it's just a really remarkable time. So even though our imitation of our family was just to eat dinner and catch up, it was really, really remarkable. I had such a good time.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
What are you looking at?
You. What all did we do? What was your favorite part of yesterday?
All of it. I know that's always the answer. I mean, y'all, if for anyone following along, Kaylee and I are on I won't going to call it a diet because everyone's reaching out saying, hey, what diet are y'all on? I have shifted my lifestyle of how I've been eating and how I've been taking care of my body. And I know that sounds like, and Kaylee used to always say this. I'd be like, oh, you're just on a diet. She's like, no, I'm changing my life. I'm changing my lifestyle. I'm making smarter decisions. She never called it a diet because diets, they fade, they fail, and eventually you burn out.
I saw a really good meme the other day, on Facebook, and it was saying the difference between diet and health. And it's really interesting that die is in diet and heal is in health.
That's fine.
So when you're on a diet, a lot of times you're restricting calories, you're restricting things. But when you're going for your health, you're fueling your body. You're feeding your body the things that it needs to heal itself as designed by the Lord. And so if you're on a diet, it's probably not the best route. But if you are seeking to be healthy, then that's the route you want to go. I just wanted to throw that out there.
That was legit. That's good. I like that. So what I was saying is obviously but Kaylee and I went and ate a steak because we're allowed to eat beef, and I don't know, eating a steak with you is pretty remarkable.
It was so good.
It was so good. Oh my goodness. And I'm telling y'all, it's not
that was
to
your
get on
favorite
that
part, eating steak?
No, I'm just I don't know. I'm going to get on that whole health thing because it's.
He has.
I felt it.
Shirt on
The reason I'm even bringing it up is the more you're intentional with how you take care of yourself, the more you're intentional with how you take care of your marriage and take care of your family. Because I have a motivation and intentionality. I spoke about this recently. I'm so inspired to spend time. This sounds crazy, but how you eat can actually drain you to want to spend time with people, including your family, because everything exhausts you. I was fueling my body with garbage to where talking was exhausting to me. Having a conversation, I was emotionally detached because I was fogged. I feel like bad carbs and stuff will fog you.
What was your favorite part of the day?
I'm sorry.
You were talking about
honestly our walk.
Oh, how did you even get on Texas Roadhouse if the walk was your favorite?
Because I was literally saying I enjoyed eating dinner with you.
Oh, so that was your favorite?
No, the walk was.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I'm all over the
place. I was reeling it in.
Skinny drops for the win. This is where my energy's coming from. I'm not even kidding. The walk for sure. And it sounds simplistic, but Kaylee and I haven't got to go on we walked for an hour or something.
Yeah, I don't know how many. You tracked it? How many miles?
It was 3 miles and something.
3 miles.
I mean, it was just that. It was just the intentional getting out together. I mean, we have. We talk about keeping it real, this is how Kaylee and I converse all the time. I mean, when we're walking, when we're sitting, no matter what we're doing, we just talk about real life.
Yeah.
And faith and dreams and vision.
Yeah.
All the things. So, I mean, if you just asked what's my favorite part, it was our walk.
Okay.
What about yours?
Got you. I really enjoyed the walk as far as our connection time and dinner. I liked all of it, but
How did you get on dinner?
I would say because the steak was so good. But I think one of my favorite things that stands out, and it just speaks to how we've grown in our relationship and how things are a little bit different now, that we're truly centered around Christ, was that because of the health journey we're on, the waiter was like, what diet are y'all doing?
That was funny.
And we're like, well, it's not really a diet, but we're just eating whole foods. We have this product we take and that we sell that helps our bodies balance and heal itself. And we're telling him all this stuff. And he's very interested and engaged. And then we were able to turn that conversation not only to give him our information for if he was interested in also joining and jumping in on the health journey, but we were able to pray for him and share the love of God with him. And so I just thought that was really cool. That even like on our anniversary date, like being able to integrate evangelism and the love of God into that, and just being able to connect with people and show them the love of God and bless them. And I thought that was really cool.
I love that you shared that, because I think it speaks to, I mean, that really is our heart, is to incorporate and involve everything with everything, and not, we've talked about not dividing things, but not having a pocket life, like to where it's like, this is our time together. This is when we spend time with the kids. This is church time. Like, it's all, you have to get in this place, because that's actually how you act. That's how you get into this raw and real place of transparency. Like, there's no, you almost can invite confusion when you got little pockets. Like, this isn't ministry time. And we just, I think our heart, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am, is just to be those raw, real people everywhere we go.
Yeah.
And operate with the love of Jesus no matter. And I honor you for that, because Kaylee's the one that actually, and she's gotten so bold in how she initiates conversations. And, when people ask you questions, that's what a lot of people don't realize. Oh, I don't know how to evangelize. When people ask you questions, they literally just opened up a realm of evangelism. Like, when someone asks you something, it's like, boom, turn that into the gospel. And he actually,
you've got them engaged. Why not go there?
Eventually I think he was like, all right, I better go do my job and wait tables, because he was chilling with us for a hot minute.
He visited with us for a while. I was thinking, man, I would be like looking around if I was a server, but that just shows that the hunger, and I thought it was really cool. It's just encouraging when you meet other people too. I mean, he's a light, too. You can tell that he loves the Lord. And
yeah. I thought that was, I'm just glad you shared that, because I think that was a beautiful moment that we got to share, and the whole evening. Yeah. The whole thing. Thanks to both of our parents for inspiring us to eat food and talk. Y'all
need to stay tuned for the vlog, because we got it all recorded of talking to him on the phone stuff. It's gonna be a fun little video of our day.
when we scratched that off, funny. I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. We're gonna they're going to be like, they went skydiving or like all this stuff. And they're like, well, if I remember right, I think we ate.
It was either just eating or like Niagara Falls. Like, we're like, we can't recreate that today.
We couldn't recreate Niagara Falls. I guess we could have, but we'd still be heading there right now. So
that's my most memorable date. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. Why do you think that going out and having that time together is so important in a marriage?
Oh my goodness. The Lord spoke something to me about this. We have a really good marriage, and no matter what, like, we're confident in our marriage and we walk with each other. And it's the same with our walk with Christ, right? I mean, he's not like, I don't love you anymore because you haven't been intimate. You haven't spent that quality time. But I also have a deeper level when I sit down and take intentional time. There's something super important about it, and it shows your level of commitment and selflessness in the relationship, because we always are going. It's easy to be like, well, we're just Kaylee and I have had these moments, I feel like, where it's like we're just in a season and it'll slow down, but we're always in a season. So we can do that with the Lord too, and say, I'm just in a season, and eventually I'll get back to like sitting with you. We just reconnect. Yeah. Intentionality is
but on a deeper level, because we're really good about sitting
together.
No,
for sure.
Like, we sit together every morning and every night we talk.
Sometimes too long in the morning. Sometimes we're like, you get us a cup of coffee and put us on the couch together. We have to hold ourselves accountable to that, because we'll kind of get into some deep conversation.
Which I've pretty much given up coffee.
Praise God, I'll find that.
But I found this really, really healthy. I created a recipe for like a healthy hot chocolate. So I just need to get more almond milk because I'm out. And then I'll be able to enjoy my cup of healthy chocolate that's really good for my muscles with one of our products, and enjoy that in the mornings while he has his coffee. It's like a dessert in a cup.
I'm going to give it up when I feel led to, but as it sits, I'm going to keep drinking coffee.
It's a personal conviction. I don't know how many of you noticed. Can I go on a tangent real quick about caffeine?
Yep.
If you feel like you cannot get out of bed in the morning, no matter what. If you feel like maybe at like 1 or 2, you kind of crash, you're like, man, why am I so tired already? You're fatigued. If you feel like kind of like you have some brain fog in the afternoons and all of that, a lot of times that is from drinking coffee first thing in the morning. So I'm not even saying you have to give up coffee, but what we do is whenever we wake up and grab our cup of joe and start sipping it, we spike our cortisol levels, which puts our body into stress. And then we have different cravings all day, and then we crash in the afternoon. And so for me personally, I'm so sensitive to caffeine that my body grows very dependent on it. And I've noticed that when I cut it out completely, I wake up easier in the mornings, and then I don't crash in the day. I have energy all day long. So you think coffee is giving you energy, but it's actually stealing it. That's my little
What a
pep
spiel.
talk. It tastes good. I love the taste of it. So I'll still have it every once in a while, but I try, like even this morning, I had a cup because it was cold, but I drank probably 28 ounces of water first. I had all of my protein in. I had 2 eggs that I ate, and I ate my fruit before I drank my cup of coffee. So just a little bit, like if you're tired,
Received.
if you're finding yourself really tired in the morning or really tired throughout the day, like try cutting out the coffee, or at the very least, drinking it after you've eaten your breakfast, your protein breakfast with lots of fat, and you'll have more energy, I promise. Carbs in the morning is terrible for you.
I don't think I knew that, but you've probably told me that multiple times.
I have told you that.
And it's wow. That's
spiritual and health cheerleader over here. So if you have questions, give me a call. But that's not what we're talking about. I just had to go on my little.
No, I think it's
soapbox.
really good though. I don't even remember what you originally asked me.
Why it's important.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's how I would answer it. You cannot live a committed life with flippancy and lack of intentionality. And that goes on all fronts. Like Kaylee said, we talk about this often. We have a really good marriage. We stay in contact. We connect often, but we know, so there's times where we're ships in the night because we are kind of doing our own thing. So it's good to say, you know what, even yesterday, I tried my hardest. Like we have a lot of activity on our phones, whether work or ministry or all the above or drops. And I really tried to disconnect from that just to be able to say, this is about Kaylee and I, and we're going to connect, and I'm not going to be distracted. And it was a really.
You did all right.
I did all right.
I'm like, you did.
I did better than you think.
You did do well. You did good. Like during the movie, I'm like, what are you doing? He's over there.
Okay, anytime I was on the phone in the movie, that's a problem. That was me checking on our kids. And
that's true.
I should have.
True.
I try. Like
we do have to check on our kids.
You got to check on your kids, especially when it hits that bedtime hour where you're like, I wonder if they're being nice for the person watching them and all that stuff, which they were. But anyway, just that intentionality, I think it's paramount. Mm-hmm. And actually, yesterday, we're very transparent. Kaylee and I haven't gone on a lot of dates lately, especially since moving here. So that spurred me. Can I start dating you again?
Aww.
I think that's what motivated. I was just like, Kaylee is actually, you're really good about always being like, we need to be intentional with our family and not allow the busyness to like trump what our first ministry or our first ministry is. And I've been very convicted in that. So I think that's going to be nothing. That is at the forefront.
We need to get our phone bucket or dock or whatever we're going to do.
Phone bucket?
Yeah, you were convicted about. So one thing we were trying to do in the new year is in the evening time at a certain time of night, put our phones away until the kids are in bed. And we can have like a certain time we can check them in case of like emergency, but they'll be off and they'll be in the bucket for intentional quality time.
I need that more than Kaylee does.
I don't know. I can be bad sometimes.
We all can. Anyone that's like, you people need to be better about not being on your phone. Most people struggle with that. It's gotten very, very easy. Yeah, we do need to implement that. That'd be good.
Yeah, for sure.
but I'm going to start dating Kaylee again. That's the tagline for this week's episode of Kalt Korner.
Start dating again.
Start dating again. I'm going to start dating my wife again. Why do you think it's important other than what I shared? Or would you just be in agreement of that need?
I think I'm in agreement, and you hear so many people say, like, when their kids move out, they don't even know each other anymore.
That crushes me.
Because they just are surviving, not thriving.
Mm.
And so I think that if you really want to thrive in a relationship and as a family, that you have to remember, this is my personal opinion, is like, our kids are not supposed to come before our relationship, because our strong relationship will be what impacts the kids for the rest of their life and sets them up for their future marriage anyway. But also, the kids are not always going to be here in our house. And so I think it's important that you continue to pursue one another intentionally and continue getting to know each other, so that you have that connection once you have an empty nest and it's not, you're not feeling like you're losing something. Yeah. And I think it's just really, if you have, I'm like, if you're not connecting intentionally, it's really easy to become self-consumed.
Oh, yeah.
Because you kind of have like a little bit of a distance in your relationship, and you are no longer putting the focus on the other person. You're putting the focus on like what you need to do and what you need to get done. And it kind of becomes that like me mentality. Whereas when you're really intentional in a relationship, that selflessness is on the forefront of your mind.
Yeah.
And then it trickles down into your family. So I think if you have like a healthy marriage, then you're going to have a healthy family. If you don't have a healthy marriage, then you're going to have a struggle really hard to have healthy behaviors in your kids. Healthy. Now, I'm not saying ours is perfect, because kids are kids, and we have our kids have their behavioral issues sometimes, and we have ours sometimes.
Sometimes.
But I just think it's really important that the marriage be strong first, so that the family can be strong. And then when you have a strong family, then you have strong churches. When you have strong churches, you have strong countries, cities, communities.
It flows.
Just flows out.
It flows. It's why the Lord is so passionate about godly marriages.
Mm-hmm. And if we truly believe that marriage is a picture of Christ and the church, like, obviously it's important to have intentional time together, just like we should with our Father.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
Those are good thoughts.
Yeah. So what would you say would be, let's do kind of like a key takeaway for everyone with marriage, since we're celebrated our 13th anniversary yesterday. Makes me feel a little bit old, but I'm not. I'm young, in Jesus' name. In 13 years, what would you say is the main lesson learned or piece of advice that you can give everybody else in marriage?
Oh my goodness. I just shared this with somebody. Hold on. Let me think because it was straight from the Lord, and I'm trying to think of how I put it. It's really easy. I just told a man of God this, that's not married yet, but will be soon. Full transparency is the only way to truly live as one flesh. And Kaylee can attest, I've gotten to this place on like an extreme level to where there ain't nothing I do, nothing that Kaylee doesn't know about. And what I've seen, and this is why intentionality and working this is why Kaylee and I have a strong marriage, is because as we sit here, as we're discussing right now, there is nothing between us. If something and I'm talking little things, like things that if I shared, you'd be like, why do you feel like you need to tell your wife that? Like, I tell Kaylee everything, even if it's an unintentional something where I'm like, I feel like I shouldn't have seen that, or whatever it is, I tell Kaylee. And it keeps purity in your marriage, because I think it's important to remember the devil doesn't need much of a space.
No,
to creep in. He doesn't need much, and a lot of people, especially men that I talk to, it like any invitation to potential sin in their marriage, it always starts really tiny, like really, really small. Like they'll be like, oh, I happened to look at something one day and then it made me look at something else. And it literally turns into a rabbit hole of disaster. And so full transparency keeps that intimacy and that and intentionality, because also transparently, this past weekend, even I wanted to confess something to Kaylee, and she was able to pray with me, and we had, guess what, an intimate time in the Lord of prayer. So transparency can actually grow your intimacy. Like, we wouldn't have had that moment. That moment wouldn't have been invited into our marriage had I not said, hey, I need to get this off my chest. I need to share this with my wife. And Kaylee used to be on the other side where she'd be like, you don't have to tell me everything. And I feel like you've shifted in that. I mean, you can bring clarity there.
Yeah, because there was a place of rejection still in my heart. So if you told me something like, oh, I did a double take or something on someone, I would be like, don't tell me that. I don't want to know that. And it would like hurt my feelings. So that's kind of where I think that, and like now it's just like, okay, I mean, I don't know, we're all human.
I mean, would you agree with that advice though? It's like,
oh, I definitely agree with that advice. It's probably definitely one of the top ones for sure. It's not my top one.
What's your top one?
But it is. I mean, I don't know that I could say it's probably even with it. I can't say it's not, but
I want to hear your
I definitely agree with that. Transparency is key. We've always been very communicative, and I think that's why our marriage has been healthy, because we talk about everything. And it's just beautiful because like in Proverbs 31, it talks about the Proverbs 31 wife, and it says that her husband's heart trusts safely in her. If your husband's not allowed to tell you everything, how is his heart going to trust safely in you? So I have that thought. And then like it says in Ephesians for men to dwell with understanding with their wives. And so men, if you're not dwelling with your wife with understanding and being patient with her and humble with her, how is she going to share everything with you? So we have to take that spot, which takes me to my piece of advice probably, which is to continue to go low. To put your spouse before you and to serve your spouse.
That's good.
I just think just be humble, go low. We did a marriage study years ago, and I think it really impacted both of us. One of the things that was that it was actually a Craig Groeschel and his wife had like a marriage study. And one of the things that they shared, they had like top five things. One of the things in that top five was to fight for each other. Don't fight to win, fight for each other. And I think that when we stopped fighting to win and we started fighting for each other, that's when our marriage shifted. That really, really impacted us.
I think it still impacts us. I think we still, because, by no means are we saying we never have arguments, but they end rather quickly. Usually with repentance on both of our fronts, especially when we're like, why? Because I would ask any married couple, like, what is your ultimate goal in this argument? It's almost always to have the victory,
to have your way,
to feel good.
Jesus came as the chief of servants. So if we want to be like Jesus, I mean, the Bible says esteem others more important than yourself. Certainly applies in marriage. You want a good marriage, serve each other. Go low. Not, oh, they don't deserve this, they don't deserve that, That's not what Jesus did. Jesus had unconditional love and he went low. Grace upon grace. I mean, so that I think that's mine is like, and one piece of advice that goes into that, my wedding photographer actually told me, shout out Megan Greathouse. She said, don't sweat the small stuff. That was her piece of advice in marriage. Don't sweat the small stuff.
There's a famous bumper sticker that says that, but the next line says, and it's all small stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say there was another part to it, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, why are we fighting about guacamole?
We got to bring up the guacamole. We're not bringing up the guacamole. That was
One time we fought because Keenan got mad that I ordered guacamole and it was an extra $1. And he wasn't even paying, his parents were.
this was years
This
ago.
was when we were dating.
This was a long time ago. We don't talk about 14-year ago, Keenan.
It was funny.
I was something special.
That was a
back
small thing.
That was a small thing that I was very upset about.
That's what pride does, is it puffs you up and it makes you think that your issue or what you want or what you need is like more important
It's
than
so
the other
important.
person. And if you can just go lower and recognize like, hey, it's not about me, your marriage is just gonna be so beautiful. The Lord has really walked us into, well, we did a teaching a long time ago that we did, we walked from friction into freedom. And so I believe that we were able to do that because of putting Christ at the center and going low and not fighting about position, not trying to power play each other, but really, really focusing on serving one another.
It's been paramount in our marriage and in our family. It's not just parenting, and it's not just marriage, it's not just parenting, it's every aspect. This applies everywhere, even for single people. This applies with your family, with your parents, with the ministry, the church you're in. I don't care where you are. When you have that heart posture that it's not about you, and I'm telling you, the Lord has been ministering that to me a lot as of late. A lot. Like a lot.
A lot.
A whole lot.
A whole lot.
Yeah. But I think it's really good. We've been really excited for this season. I feel like the Lord is really just bringing us into some really new things, some exciting things. We're being very intentional. We really do want to invite you into our marriage, into our family, how we operate, what we talk about, all of that stuff. And I'm really excited, but you have to put together that blog because you're good at that stuff.
You guys send me the content.
I gotta send you the content.
The stuff that's on your phone, send it to me.
But for everybody that watches, just continue to stay plugged in. We're getting our YouTube channel off the ground. Realize this is like a brand new YouTube channel that we need support in. So if you see this, please like and share our YouTube link and let people know what we're gonna start getting more and more content out, more shorts, more reels, all of that stuff. We have some people we know that don't know that they're going to help us with camera setups and all that stuff, but they're going to.
Which, if you feel like sewing,
yeah, get that out.
Kaylee, call Cash App. we need that equipment be expensive.
It's not cheap, but we want to do this in excellence. We want to get our studio set up where we can do these. Hopefully, in the future, we can do some Q&As and actually answer some people's questions or. Yeah. Something I've learned when we talk that I think I take for granted, that I'm trying not to take for granted, is that through the grace of the Lord, we have a lot we can share on our marriage that a lot of people don't even realize. A lot of wisdom that comes out strictly by the testimony of Jesus into people's lives. Things we've walked through, things we know what it looks like to handle, things we know what it looks like to walk in, and what it looks like on the other side of it. Man, so I think Kayla and I could talk for hours to single people before they get married. So much that I could share with you single people before you tie the knot. You too, I know.
True, definitely.
But again, we just want to keep the heart of Kalt Korner at keeping it real. That's what we want. So we're going to keep on doing that.
Yeah. I could go on and on about marriage. Wives, just pray for your husbands if you have an issue.
That's a whole word in and of itself.
Just pray. He can't stop your prayers. He can't argue with your prayers. But don't say selfish prayers either.
Well, and stop thinking that your husband can tell you you're not allowed to pray and not allowed to do all those things. That's the one thing he can't. That's control. Don't do that. There's a way to honor well, but
just make sure, this is like a side note, but in marriage, ladies, don't be praying for your husband to grow in his walk because you feel like you need something different in him. That's selfish. Be praying for him to find the Lord and to grow in the Lord and to have divine encounters with the Lord and be blessed by the Lord and fall in love with the Lord. As he falls in love with the Lord, he will naturally fall in love with you and his behaviors will change, but it can't be about you. Felt like to say that.
True.
Again, goes into that humility and that servitude, even in our prayers.
That's good. I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah. But
it's a whole
anyway,
thing.
So we had a good anniversary.
We had an amazing anniversary. We're going to keep up with us. We're going to start scratching those. I think we have a book of, I don't know how many are in that book, but that book is littered with dates.
Yeah, I think we'll probably vlog each one just for fun.
That one.
That'll be adventure book vlog number 1.
Super funny. Weeks ago, I had planned to take Kaylee out, and my plan was definitely dinner because I knew we'd want to eat dinner, and then was whatever we scratched in that book because I wanted to scratch that for so long. And my mind had told me that I was going to scratch something that was going to take us hours. I was like, man, this is going to be like a whole adventure. But the Lord knew that we just needed that reconnection, I think. Because I really did. I was like, this is going to be like something wild. And I'm sure there's some of that stuff in that book, but last night wasn't it. Shout out to our parents for, at one point in their life, having dinner and talking. Because it was good.
It was good.
What else? Is that it?
I think that's it.
I'm good too.
I feel good.
For truly, I want to just thank everybody that watches these. I know we have viewers that get on here like every week constantly. We have people that watch these late at night after they've been streamed and give us your feedback. For those of you that give feedback, that give support, that give love, that have given financially, that have sown into us, I know from the bottom of my heart and Kaylee's heart, we thank you because absolutely. The Lord has put this so deep on our heart to really minister to others and to just invite you into our lives. So hang with us as we get, by we, I mean Kaylee. She's going to get the restream all organized because she knows how to do all the things. I'm learning, I'm growing. And hopefully by next, I'm going to just commit to that. By next Wednesday, we're going to have everything in order as we move forward with this new setup and going live. So looking forward to it. Next Wednesday, 12 o'clock Eastern. Wait a minute, next Wednesday. Stay tuned on that. I think I've got to pick up next Tuesday, and I'm not sure how that coincides yet.
What?
I have an airport pickup next Tuesday.
What does that have to do with Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, I meant. Sorry. My apologies. I have a pickup next Wednesday. Let me verify the time stamp of that. We will be live next Wednesday. Just stay tuned on times we will be posting, and continue liking, sharing, supporting, shooting us messages. We love all of it. We love all of you. We're thankful for you, and y'all have an amazing afternoon.